Welcome everyone to the TPCC 16 million reserve Battle League post-draft power rankings. Now, before I begin, I will let you know that I will be doing separate videos for Pool 1 and Pool 2. They will both have this same intro, so if you're watching both videos, I suggest in the second video, just use the timestamp in the description and skip to the relevant part. So before I begin, I'll let everyone know what I'm doing and how I'm doing this. So obviously I'm going to rank all 12 teams in each pool based on their roster and how viable I think they are. What I'll do then is I'll assign points. So if you come first in the ranking in your pool, you'll get 12 points, second will get 11, third will get 10, all the way down to 12th, which will get 1 point. Then after each round, if you get a win, I'll take your opposition score, divide it by the round number, and I'll add that many points to you. So if you're ranked 10th and you start on 3 points, and then you beat first in round 1, you'll add 12 points onto your score and go to 15. If you beat someone in round 3 who's on 24 points, I'll divide that by 3, you'll add 8 points to your score. So basically it's taking into account where your opponent is ranked, and if you defeat them, then you're adding more to your score. I thought that was the most simple way to go about this rankings. Keep it simple for everyone and just not overcomplicate it. So let's begin. In 12th place of the second pool, we've got the Bannable Bannettes. This team definitely has a lot of good offensive Pokemon. A huge chunk of this squad is going to net some one-hit KOs for sure. In my opinion, this roster just fails to do what it needs to in order to be viable. Victini, Urshifu, Dracofish, and Lycanroc, while hard hitters, just aren't providing enough versatility between them. There's absolutely no need to have both Latios and Latias. The same can be said about having both Copperaja and Metagross. I just don't think this roster makes itself as difficult to prepare for as the other teams in this division. What I'm looking for? I think with 2 or 3 trades, this team can be salvaged into something competitive. But like always, opponents still need to prepare for the threats that this team does have. In 11th place, we've got the Bucharest Scolipeds. Necrozma Duskmane is an outstanding uber pick. This team also has a lot of decent support options and potential sweepers. Some things I don't like about this team, it's got a notable flying weakness. Even though he does have some flying type answers, I think it'll hold this team back from performing well, as so many of his Pokemon will be forced from the field too regularly. I also think that it prevents Amoonguss from performing its role effectively. What to look for? If Nicholas decides to keep the current roster, it'll be interesting to see if he can build teams that can overcome its flaws, as I believe this roster will struggle to win games against the stronger rosters in this division. In 10th place, the Toxic Toxapexes. Seeing Toxapex, Zapdos, Grimmsnarl and Venusaur all together makes me feel like they were always part of the plan. I feel like this team lacks the hitting power of many of the other rosters, while also not appreciating Stealth Rocks or Fire moves. Beyond the core, this roster is slightly questionable. In bits and pieces I can see potential cores that can do well, but I think this team might struggle most weeks. I think he just needs to build some depth in this roster to make it work. In 9th place, we've got the Vicious Volcaronas. He's got lots of setup threats with Dragon Dance Kyurem, Shift Gear and Calm Mind with Soul Heart Magerna, Dragon Dance and Nasty Plot Hydreigon, Moxie Crocodile, and Stat Stealing Marshadow. He's got decent enough bulk with access to screens from Moustick. He only has one Stealth Rock setter in Crocodile, and I think this will set this roster back a little bit. I'd like to see some changes made to the core. I feel like bringing in something like Tangrowth or Thwackey could be better suited than Appleton. I'm also slightly unsure of both Melodic and Rotom Wash being in this roster together. Possibly Rotom Fan would make more sense. With this roster, do not let this team set up. You're going to have a bad time, and it's simple as that. In 8th place, we've got the Fishy Mudkips. He's definitely got some good heavy hitters. He's got Magic Bounce on Hatterene, and it'll be a huge factor in how this team is prepped for. His roster's fairly predictable. with attacking options that might cause this team some issues. It also lacks some bulk. What to look for? It's kind of an odd one to analyse. It really doesn't like rocks, however it does have Magic Bounce, a Rapid Spinner and a Defogger. While I don't think this roster is amazing, it definitely shouldn't be taken lightly. This team will definitely threaten teams, but I also think that it will struggle to break through well-prepared ones. In 7th, we've got the Blazing Bisharps. They've got Double Weather, which we've seen work well before. They've got Pelipper and Barraskewda with the Rain, and Ninetales Alola and Arctozolt, which take advantage of Hail. It's got a nice Ubers core of Reshiram and Zamazenta, and Ninetales provides some solid options including screens. Regirock, Zamazenta and Gastrodon provide some bulk, although it's not a great deal of bulk across the roster and it might have trouble dealing with hazards as well. We can expect some instances where the opposition handles the weather well and this roster might just unravel. Arctozolt also doesn't outspeed a lot of the Ubers in this competition, even in the Hail. We can expect other teams to come at this roster well prepared for those fast weather sweepers. So will the Bisharps apply enough pressure to allow this team to work each week? In number 6, we've got the Kawaii Kamalas. It's got solid options in both attack and defense. It's got a nice range of typings and it's versatile. It's got great hazard options and access to prankster screens. I feel like Magikarp's just a bit of a joke for the sake of it, and Aggron and Unpheasant really don't feel necessary. I do like this team and I feel like it's got potential. I'd be surprised to see this roster lose more than it wins, and I'm interested to see how it fares against the competition. In 5th, we've got the Arse Munchlaxes. This roster's solid. I can see this team being extremely hard to beat every week, and I feel like it was very well planned, and it handles opposition rosters nicely. It hits great speed tiers, fits all the required roles, and will make life extremely hard for those preparing against it. It is slightly weak to ice, particularly freeze-dry. As great as Lugia is, I'm not 100% sure it fits in this roster as an Uber's choice. This roster is built for unconventional tech, which we know and love about Davi. You've got Cosmic Power on Eternatus and Clefable. Vikavolt has the potential to be a Trick Room Sweeper, Sticky Web Setter, or Agility Throat Spray Sweeper. Virizion and Lando T can be versatile as both physical and special attackers or as walls, and Zeraora is a potent Dynamaxer. This whole roster really is quality. In 4th, we've got the Dysfunctional Dragons. It's got lots of good draft Pokemon in this roster, and it covers its weaknesses and necessary roles quite well. I'd like to see something that takes advantage of the Sunlit Groudon sets in this roster, like Venusaur or even something like Shiftry. Cinderace not being able to Dynamax is unfortunate, even with Libero being allowed. With such a versatile roster, I'm looking forward to seeing what teams are brought, as I believe prep will be extremely hard for the opposition. In 3rd place, we've got the Snowpoint Vikings, with quality coverage options across the board. This team doesn't need any setup to hit you hard. I also quite like Claydol here, which is easy to overlook. This team appreciates Stealth Rocks, Rapid Spin and Teleport that Claydol provides. I feel like this team lacks a little bit of synergy around Kyogre, even with Swift Swim Kingdra. Ho-Oh, Nidoking, Chandelure and Claydol don't really appreciate the rain, however, Ferrothorn and Skyzer do. The roster lacks reliable special defense as well. Expect some really heavy offense from this team. In 2nd place, we've got the Tryhard Trapinchers. With the amazing defensive core of Blissey, Skarmory, Vaporeon, Incineroar, and to an extent, Mamoswine. Zekrom, now with Dragon Dance and the psychic combo of Tapu Lele and Mewtwo, pose a terrifying threat. It's slightly on the low side in terms of base speed, and it may struggle if it loses one of its bulky Pokemon to fainting or item crippling. What to look for? Can we see Expanding Force Mewtwo on the back of Tapu Lele's Psychic Terrain tear holes in the opposition? And our top ranked roster for Pool 2 is the Camerupting Volcanoes. This team is full of amazing Pokemon that can tear teams to shreds. Togekiss is a free pick as an absolute steal and one of the best Dynamaxes in the game. I really like every Pokemon in this roster, and I think it'll be extremely hard to prep for. Almost every week, Olivia will need to decide which of his attacking threats need to focus on keeping rocks away or risk losing lots of valuable health from some of his roster's best Pokemon. However, he does have some options for that with Rapid Spin and Defog. This team will just run away with the game some weeks. It's going to create some serious offensive pressure and will definitely be a fun team to watch. And then we have our rankings for Pool 2. Like I said in the other video, if you want to improve your ranking, you can make trades, which I will be adding 1 or 2 points if I thought you made a good or great trade, or I will be taking away points by 1 or 2 if I think you've made a bad or terrible trade. I will be updating these every week, so if you defeat opponents, you will be gaining points depending on where your opponent is ranked. I'll leave a link to the Pool 1 post-draft power rankings as well. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And comment if you want to say something about how I ranked them or if you disagreed with any of the rankings. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.